So this is my 2008 Toyota Aygo, and today I'm going to show you guys how I save myself some money by fully servicing this car instead of taking it to a garage or the dealership. But before I start today's jobs, I need to show you exactly what I've bought for the car today. So here it is, all of the service parts for the Toyota Aygo. You can see I've got the 5W30 oil to change along with the oil filter, followed by the cabin filter, and I just realised the guys actually sent me a cabin filter when they wasn't supposed to. That's why I've got two, because I ordered one separate, but I'll keep this as a spare, so we can chuck that in there. So cabin filter to change, air filter to change, 3 spark plugs because it's a 3-cylinder engine, and in this bag I've got a little repair to do on a door handle, which I can show you at the end of today's video, but that's just a replacement part. So ignoring that, that is the main stuff you need to be changing on the Aygo today. The first job I'm going to do is the most easiest, and that is the air filter change, because it's right at the top of the engine. You don't need any tools other than possibly a pair of pliers, because there's a clip that's on a hose at the back, which I can show you that in a minute, but most of the time you can actually wiggle the top of the box and get that away. So once you get the top cover off, you can get to the air filter, which I'm going to show you now. So pop the bonnet on the car. Once you've popped the bonnet, you're going to see these 4 silver clips. Simply just use your thumb to unclip these, just push down like so, do all 4 of them, and then what you're going to do is just move around to the left, and you can see this hose here is like pushed in this section here, and you're just going to get some pliers, squeeze this, oh no, you can do it by hand, squeeze these together and then give this a wiggle upwards so that hose comes out, and then this bit of plastic should be able to come away from the car. Like so. And now you can see where the air filter sits. This just literally pulls out. You could see a minute ago this was on its side. That's just where I caught it with my fingers. This has been squished in the sides because you can see all the rubber seals coming off, so it's a good job that I'm going to be changing this today anyway. To be honest, it doesn't look that bad. I've definitely seen a lot worse, but either way it's a very easy change to do. So now we're just going to grab the new filter and put that in. So you can see this filter is slightly different to the other one, but I just had a look. The only difference is you've got a groove already cut out, which just sits over the top quite snug. So it makes no difference, it's just a different design. But yeah, that is literally it for the air filter change. You just put all this back on, make sure everything lines up. Put the clips back on. And away you go. That's literally it. Next we're going to do the spark plug change, but before we do that we need to remove this airbox cover again that I just shown you how to remove. Then I can show you where the location of these spark plugs actually are. Go back to the car and you will see these 3 coil packs just here. So what we're going to do is unclip these electrical connections. Just literally squeeze this together, give it a pull, a bit of a wiggle, so it may be a bit tight, like so. Next we need to grab a 10mm ratchet so we can get these off. And now you can start to go ahead and remove these coils. I always just pop the bolts up on the top of this plastic because it's out of the way and nice and safe. Okay, so now these coils should just pull out, just give them a bit of a wiggle, like so. And then what I'm going to do is just spray some electrical cleaner inside of these before I put them back in when I've replaced the new spark plugs. But for now I'm just going to pop these up the top out of the way. So now you've got your 3 coil packs off. If you look down the cylinders, you will see the spark plug tops. You can just about see on this one. It's a bit dark on the other two, but that's where they're located. What you're going to need to do now to get these out is grab yourself a 10mm deep spark plug socket. So you want to make sure you have this to hand, because you're going to seriously struggle to get these out if you haven't. I use the Draper Expert 10mm deep socket, and this works every time. So what you need to do now is grab yourself a ratchet again on a large extension to remove the spark plugs, and we're going to start with cylinder 1. You've loosened off the spark plug, you're probably thinking, how on earth do you get this out? There is certain pliers that you can use to get these out, which I have a set, but they won't work on this occasion because the spark plugs are too small. So what I normally do is either use a pair of long nose pliers, which I haven't got to hand because I took them home to do something else, or you can just put some blue tack in your socket that you were using. Gently push the top of the spark plug into the center, give it a gentle twist enough just to grip, and then that should come out. So I'm just going to show you now what I mean. So I always give it a little bit of a push, not too hard, then twist, and then just gently wiggle the spark plug back out, or give it a twist. And then you can see you can get the spark plug out. So yeah, just repeat the process for the other two. But you can see that's pretty bloody strong. And then you're just going to have to pick all of this back out with a flat-headed screwdriver. What I should have done is loosened off all three and then just used that, take out all of the spark plugs at the same time. Now you've removed all of the old spark plugs, you can now begin to unwrap the new ones, and we can start putting those in. Some people always ask, do I gap the spark plug, which I'm guessing they mean checking the gap between the tip and the bottom of this. I've never done it personally. I don't see why I need to do it on these types of cars. I think that's more to do with like the really older stuff, but I've never had any issues with just putting these straight in. So yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and put these in. When we put these in, use your deep socket again over the top. Tighten this up as much as you can by hand, and then what we're going to do is use the ratchet to tighten this up. When it goes tight, just give it a gentle quarter turn or half turn, no more. You don't need to over tighten these spark plugs. So let me show you. So we'll do cylinder 1 first. Drop that down. Okay, so just start tightening this up by hand until it goes no more. That is as tight as it can go. Now grab the ratchet, right, and then what I normally do is just turn it, so that's tight there, and just give it a one gentle quarter turn. If not even that, look, that is more than enough. You don't need to go any more than that. So just repeat the process on the other two, and then we can start putting all the coil packs back on. So now you can just reverse the process. So we need to spray some electrical cleaner inside of these, put these back in, tighten them up with the 10mm across here, and then that is it, guys. done and fitted. The only thing you got left to do is just to reverse the process on fitting the airbox back together. Very easy, like I said at the start, so just make sure you put this pipe on at the back first and make sure the clip is on correctly, and then just put the 4 silver clips back on, and that's the job done. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video that I actually bought some front and rear replacement wiper blades because they were making a horrendous sound, so that's what you can see me just doing here. The old wiper blades can be a bit of a pain to get off sometimes, as you can see here. I'm struggling to get this one off, but just keep giving it a bit of a wiggle and they should come off okay. Now you can get the new wiper blade out of the box and remove all the plastic packaging. And then just hook the wiper arm hook over the plastic clip inside of the new wiper blade, and then that's it, you can test them out. The rear wiper blade's really easy, it's literally just clipped in. Simply just pull the old one off and then just clip the new one in, and that's it. Test the window wiper out. Unpackage the new wiper blade. And now you can just simply clip the new one on. The first thing we need to do is jack up the car and secure it with axle stands. Now you have the car jacked up, if you come underneath, I'm going to show exactly where the sump plug is, which is just here. You're going to need a 14mm to undo that. So that's where you drain the oil. And then just next to it, this is where the oil filter location is. You're going to need a oil filter tool possibly to undo this, which you'll see in a minute. Next, go into the passenger side and pop the bonnet. And we're going to undo the oil cap, which you can see here. This will help all of the oil drain out fully from the sump when we undo the bolt. So just take off the cap and move that out of the way for now. Now we're going to remove the sump plug itself to drain the oil. So grab yourself an oil tray or something similar. Grab a 14mm socket to remove the sump plug. Unscrew the sump plug itself, and then you can let the oil drain out. Whilst the oil's draining out, I normally clean up the sump plug and then replace the copper washer with a new one, and then just leave that on the side until we're ready to re-screw it back in. Once all of the old oil is drained out, grab some of the new oil and just put it into the engine itself to flush out some of the old oil that's remaining in the sump. Not too much, just enough to push it out. So this is what I'm doing here that you can see. If you go back under the car, you'll see some of the fresh oil that's pushing its way through into the oil pan. What I'm doing here is I'm just putting the sump plug back in temporary, just by hand, just to stop the oil dripping. Once you've done that, grab the oil filter remove tool, place that around the oil filter itself, and then tighten it enough until it begins to loosen the filter, and then you should be able to remove this oil filter by hand. Using some degreaser spray, just degrease the area where the oil filter screws into and where the sump is. Now you can grab the new oil filter, remove the packaging on the top, grab some fresh oil around your finger, and just rub that round the new fresh oil seal, like so. Screw the new oil filter back onto the car, and you only need to tighten this as much as you can by hand, and then that's enough. But you can use the oil filter tool to tighten it up a little bit more if you choose to. Also go ahead and tighten the sump bolt back up, but don't overdo it. And now you can begin to put the fresh oil into the engine and just keep checking the oil level on the dipstick. Once you put the fresh oil into the engine, you can now screw the oil cap back on. Just clean up all the excess oil that you may have spilt onto the engine so it doesn't start smoking when you start the car up. So that is the oil and filter now changed. What I did after the oil and filter change was the cabin filter change. Unfortunately, one of my videos that I took has corrupted and it won't let me post it up on today's video. So I apologise for that, but what I will do is just quickly show you in the passenger side where it kind of sits. It's very easy, it just sits behind the glove box. You pull off a black cover, pull out the cabin filter itself, pop the new one in, pop the black cover back on, and then that's it. So it's very simple. If you do get stuck, there is plenty of other people that's posted where the cabin filter location is on YouTube, so just check those out. But I do apologise it's not in my video today. So what I'm going to do next is restore my headlights on the car because they've gone like a horrible dull hazy colour. Show you my little trick to make these look brand new again, and then that just improves the visibility at night. So I use a Mark III Rupes DA polisher with this pad that looks very worn. I keep this pad purely for headlights because it's got enough grip just to do the job I want it to do. I do need to replace it though. What I do then is just spray some water on the pad itself, and then I use this heavy cut compound stuff which you can buy off of eBay. It's very good, and just put 4 blobs of this on the pad like so, and then dab the headlight with the pad. Turn the speed right down first, and then start working your way up and down with this, and then you can see the results as I go along now. So I don't know if it's picking it up on the camera or not, but you can see the headlight's gone like a greeny sort of looking colour. That will come out really clear in a minute. It's just trying to dig into the plastic first, and then it brings out that lovely clear look again, what it originally had. So we're just going to carry on up and down until this starts coming out how I want it to look. Then just grab yourself a microfiber cloth and then watch the results. If I just show you the comparison to the other one quick, you can see how bad all the pitting and haziness looks on this headlight. So what I'm going to do now is just repeat the process on this headlight, and then that's going to make the car look miles better, and it improves the visibility, which is the main purpose of doing this little job. And there you have it. So this one actually has a little bit more damage in the inside of the plastic, but it's still come out miles better than before. And this one's come out pretty well. So yeah, that's what I do just to restore the headlights. That just helps improve the visibility at night and improves the overall look, like I said. So everything servicing wise is now completed. The only thing I've got left to do is just to get the car back down onto its wheels, check the oil level, start the car up, give it a test drive and make sure everything's okay. If you remember right at the beginning of the video, I did say there was an extra package when I was revealing all of the parts. This is just a handle cover replacement for the driver's side door. Basically, when I bought the car, there was a handle missing, which I'm just going to show you guys how to replace, and then that's going to be it for today's video. So this is the cover that I was just talking about that's missing. When I ordered the new cover replacement, it actually came with the plastic shroud that it attaches to as well, which I didn't realise. So what I could do is just essentially push this over the top of the current one, but I did just try that a minute ago off camera and it's not locking into the bottom clip down here, so maybe that's what the issue was the entire time. So for the sake of 2 screws that you remove, one from the top, one from the bottom, I'm just going to change the whole thing out and replace the whole thing. So let's remove the bottom one first. 2, and I guess this just pulls away. Like so, just give it a bit of a pull, and that clip just goes inside that middle bit. Grab the new one, reverse the process, push it in, grab your screws, screw this in, grab the new cover. You can see there's 2 pins on the back, so they push into the 2 holes that you can see. So put those in first, and this handle should just literally just push on into those holes. And that's it. And that's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope I've managed to help some of you out with the servicing on this type of car. If I have, let me know in the comments. I always appreciate the comments. If you're interested in seeing things like my Mazda RX-7 build, my Indian Scout bobber, and other servicing stuff, please check out my playlist, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, of course. Until then, I'll see you all in the next one.